Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about reporting, inferring, and judging. As you'll recall from the reading that I had assigned for you for this week, we'll be talking about three types of beliefs: reports, inferences, and judgments. Today I'm going to show you a series of 3 photos, and I'm going to ask you to take notes on each of the photos in the style of a report, an inference, and a judgment. So when I show the photo on the screen, I'll just ask you to pause the video and give yourself time to take notes on each one. Alright, so let's start with reports. So just to review, reports describe the world in ways that can be verified through investigation. This means that if the information is presented in the true style of a report, there is no room for argument or discussion. So for example, our professor was late today, or class was canceled today. These are things that can be verified through fact. Here is an example of a report in the style of a true report. In a newspaper article, if we were to talk about a crime, a robbery, this is how it would be presented. Okay, so we have some information that could be verified through security camera footage, and there are no judgments or inferences made in this report. So keeping this style in mind, I'm going to ask you to pause the video momentarily and write down information about this photo in the style of a report. All right, in photo number 2, what would you write down as observations of the report? Please pause the video now. And in photo number 3, what could you write down in the style of a report about this photo? Please pause the video now. All right, moving on to inferences. So inferences are based on factual information. So for example, our professor is in a hurry and is overworked. This is an inference we could make if you saw your professor running through the hallway looking tired. Okay, so inferences are guesses or predictions. Inferences are not always right, they can be wrong. And as you'll recall from the reading, when we talk about lenses, lenses are how we view the world based on our experiences and knowledge. So all of the things that we've witnessed throughout life, all of the things that we've learned throughout life, they shape our opinions, and the information that we take in through the style of report can be modified so that we are guessing or predicting things about the present or future. Some examples, okay? So let's say you go outside, not in the winter, but you go outside and you see that the school's front lawn is wet. Possible inferences: you could say it rained, or that the sprinkler was on, or that this is just the morning dew, or maybe there was a dog that walked by and peed on the grass. All of these could explain why the grass is wet, but they could also be proven wrong if there was security camera footage showing why the grass became wet in the first place. All right, so these inferences, again, based on prior experiences. We've seen rain, we've seen dogs peeing on the grass, and we've seen sprinklers and morning dew. Okay, so inferences are combinations of knowledge from previous experiences and things that we can observe and witness. So I'll ask you to pause the video to infer information about photo number 1. Please pause the video and infer about photo number 2. Please pause the video and infer about photo number 3. The third category is judgments. So judgments describe the world in ways that express an evaluation based on certain criteria. For example, a judgment would be, our professor is irresponsible. So a judgment is an opinion based on certain criteria, an evaluation or opinion. Let's see some examples of this, okay? So a lot of people can get confused between the differences of judgments and inferences. So reports and inferences can help you determine what is happening or what will happen. They're helpful, okay? Judgments can also be helpful. They express your evaluation about what is happening. So an inference helps you to determine something, whereas a judgment, you're stating your opinion as fully formed. Okay, so if we talk about cars, for example, a factual report about a car, my new car has broken down 3 times in the first 6 months. This would be a factual report, could be proven. Okay, once you've had those 3 car problems in the first 6 months, you could infer that my new car will probably continue to have difficulties. Okay, this inference is helpful. It's helping us plan and determine for the future. Whereas a judgment, my new car is a lemon, is a judgment based on what we've seen, doesn't really help us determine anything going forward. It's a finished opinion, basically. Okay? Judgments don't always have to be negative, though. I know we say don't judge others, right? So we have this idea that judgments are bad, but they can be positive things. So here would be an example. This comes from your reading. Remember Carla? Carla always does her work thoroughly and completes it on time. This could be proven through her grades and her teacher's satisfaction with the thorough completion of her work. Okay, we could infer that Carla is a hardworking student and that she'll probably continue to do her work to this level of completion. Whereas a judgment would be Carla is a very responsible person. So the judgment isn't giving us information about the future. Okay, it's not helping us predict anything. It's just a judgment. I'm going to ask you to pause the video now and judge photo number 1. Please pause and judge photo number 2. Please pause and judge photo number 3. Okay, here we have a photo of the Animaniacs, if you recall this cartoon from the 90s. Maybe this was a little bit of a throwback too with the Wheel of Morality. I'll post the link on Moodle in case you're curious. If you have never seen Animaniacs, I suggest it. All right, let's talk about morality. Where does morality come from? Does it come from religion? Religions talk about morality quite frequently, and yet the world has a wide range of religions. So what do we all have in common between all of these religions? And how does that explain atheists' morality? Well, Haidt thinks that it is innate, and there's a lot of research to support this idea as well. Being moral helps to prevent harm. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you, right? That sort of thing. Prevention of harm, reciprocity, and fairness. Treating each other fairly and reciprocating that among others. Being loyal to a group, respecting authority, and having a sense of purity and sanctity can explain why morality is relevant and important for humans. But I want you to watch these videos, and I'll post both links on the main screen on Moodle for this week's unit, because there are a lot of biological roots of morality, which we can see within animals, and then also in connection to oxytocin in humans. So please watch those videos, and I'm going to ask you to take notes on both of them because we will be discussing them in class before our in-class activity on Thursday. All right, speaking of morality, we have a situation here. I want you to explain what you would do in this situation. You are employed by a large corporation that manufactures baby formula. You suspect that a flaw in the manufacturing process has resulted in contamination of the formula in a small number of cases. This contamination could lead to serious illness and death. Your supervisor has told you that everything's under control and that if you go public, you will be putting the entire company in jeopardy from lawsuits, you will be fired and blackballed. You are the sole breadwinner in your family. What do you do in this situation? Do you risk your job? Or do you stay silent to protect your family's financial situation? So I'm going to ask you to take some time to really consider what you would do in this situation. Okay? This is what we would call a moral dilemma. It's wrong to knowingly jeopardize the health of children, and yet it is still right to protect the welfare of your family and your career. So take some time before Thursday's class and write down an explanation of what you would do in the situation and why. We'll be having a discussion of this on Thursday.